I encompass all of the vertices, at least, that are needed for each bone in the rig that we've added. In the thigh, same thing. I'm going to go in, I want to grab, increase the knee area. Now I've got a pretty good idea of where I'm going with this because I've done it so many times. You're probably going to have to do a lot of playing around. I really don't know how my model's going to deform at this stage. I'm just guessing. It is literally just a guess at this stage. And we're going to find that out once we've done our first pass on the guess. We'll then be able to go and do some corrections. Once again, this envelope, because of where the hip joint actually goes to, doesn't seem to be very good. We need to encompass a lot of the butt of the character here, his cheek. Probably need to get in more of this side here without actually, right now we're starting to climb right up the side of the character. We don't want to affect it all the way up here, but we still haven't got the bum in. So again, adjusting the position of the envelope a bit and getting it more centered to the mass of the character as opposed to the bone. We can probably make some adjustments to it now and get it to control better areas that we're looking for. This is going to be a bit of a problem up here. Again, something else we can do is you can shorten the whole envelope, same way that you can move it, just make the whole thing a bit shorter. And that'll help get it around the area and not going up too far. I'm not going to worry too much about the fact that it's going red all the way up here, because that'll change as soon as I weight the next bone in the system, which will be into the bottom of the spine. So you can see around the knee area now, it's changed a lot from where it was now that I've adjusted the thigh bone. I may not be getting as much of it as I need, so I can again go back and tweak that up, and you can see it. The orange basically means it's probably about a 50%, and same with this one now, it's about 50% in the knee area. This is probably going to get us a very soft bend in the knee joint. Let's mirror this over right now, because now that we've done these envelopes, we can mirror them to the other side. I'm going to turn on mirror mode. Mirror mode shows you this mirror plane down the center of the character. Now on my character, it is down the center of it, and that's because the pivot of this character is in the center. This is what I mean by working really clean. When I say making sure that things are done in very specific ways, it makes every step easier if you've done previous steps correctly. I made sure that I reset the X-forms on this character. I made sure the pivot was in the center of world space, in the center of the character. And it's just going to make it far easier. The envelopes that show up in green and envelopes that show up in blue are basically showing which ones are being mirrored. So this one's green, this one's blue, it's saying it's finding a mirror. If the envelopes show up as red when you're in mirror mode, it means they're not finding a mirror side. Now that makes sense for the spinal column. There is no mirror for it as they lay right down the center. Now what you really want to do is you want to make sure that they're all finding their counterpart. I'm just going to turn the mirror threshold to here to 0. And you can see when I do that, all of the envelopes turn red. The threshold controls the distance variance basically from left to right side, or right to left side. And the threshold by default is set at 0.5 units. If you're working in a very, very small unit scale, which often seems to be the case for games, you may have to decrease this value a lot, because if it goes too high, it can actually find mirrors for multiple bones on the other side instead of just the one that it's supposed to find. So essentially finding the smallest value that works is the best thing you can do. So I usually have a tendency to go through, here's when I hit 0.2, the thigh makes a match because this bone, its original position of this bone and this bone were in the correct spots, but the others aren't quite matching up yet. 0.3 appears to catch everything pretty good. I like to keep that value as low as possible when I'm working to make sure that it's only doing exactly what I need. Now to mirror envelopes, you've got a couple of different options. Mirror paste will take vertices and mirror them over. What we're looking for is mirroring the bones over and not the vertices at this point. So paste green to blue bones, and that's what the one we're looking for. So we want to paste the green bones over to the blue bones. Paste green to blue. When I check that on, you'll notice that what's happened right away is the left side bones now have moved themselves into the placement of the right side bones. And if I exit mirror mode now, pick the left calf, you'll actually notice it's also added the cross sections and sized the envelopes correctly. This makes short work. I don't have to touch the whole left side of the character. All I'm ever going to do is weight the left side of the right side of this character, and mirror everything over to the left side. In this case right now I'm just going to stick with doing it with envelopes. So let's start with the spinal column now with the envelopes. Once again, the placement of this envelope probably isn't very good. The simple reason being is that the spinal column runs right up the back of the character, but this character has got a huge belly. So if I try and actually size this envelope to take in the front of the stomach, it's going to be huge. Best thing you can do then is to, again, move it into the center of mass to help get a better idea of how this is going to work. I'll just do this quickly. And you can see it already starting to take in the crotch area, but the center of the envelope isn't doing much. Again, I'm going to add a cross section, and you can also get to the option in the quad menus. Now what I want is a pretty soft fall off in the body area. Let's go up to the next envelope, and again let's move the center of mass forward. Try and get it in the center somewhat. And then size this one up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue doing this throughout the entire model. As not to bore you, I'm going to stop here and go through and size all of the envelopes and mirror them to the other side so that I know that I'm encompassing all of the envelopes and getting a fairly good idea of you know, my overall weights. It's just a guess at this point.